Sorry ass DJ.
Hey everybody, how you doing out there? And welcome back to the Ranking the Big Three. I am on the part 5's right now, and just like my previous video of the part 4's, I'm pretty much feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record here, is that my number 3 and my number 2 are movies I'm very disappointed in. My number 1 is definitely one that I love a lot. I'll be kind of curious what you think of the part 5's here. Do you like any of these? Do you feel like that you're disappointed with all of them? And how would you actually rank these three here? Give me a comment down below on any of the questions, on all of them if you would like to here, and let's get ourselves started. Number 3, the worst of the worst here, is going to be Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Now, what I do enjoy about this movie is I like the beginning credits here with a knife and a pumpkin. And I kind of like the whole swishing that it goes through there. I think is really good. I actually like Dr. Loomis's makeup a lot better. The burn victim on half of his face and his hand and some of his arm there, I think does a much better job than they did in part 4. Like part 4 was like a prototype, and they're like, I think we could do much better if we get a 5th movie out, which I figured they were going to, especially the way 4 ended. I do enjoy the kills. I think they're decently good in here. I definitely will say there's some gory ones, which is really awesome. And when we have Jamie in a vent, I believe this is in Act 3, it is definitely a really good shot scene there. I actually heard that she really did get cut by the knife, so she actually did put some blood literally into the film. Very intense scene there. But on the flip side, let's just continue with Jamie. She's a mute for about an hour plus in this movie. I'm like, why the hell did they actually go that route? When it comes to Donald Pleasence and Dr. Loomis, I think out of all the Donald Pleasence performances, I think this might be the worst as Dr. Loomis. I mean, he seems like he acts like he's an alcoholic. He acts like he's just going crazy. He scares Jamie, let alone other kids there. It just didn't really feel like that this is what Dr. Loomis would do. I'm kind of glad that they kind of pulled him back a little bit for part 6, but I would say, it's just not really what they should have done to him in this here. You got Rachel and what they do to her, and they kill her off pretty early in the film, which was really horrible. She was one of the great things about part 4, and then they pretty much feel like that they just spit in her face there with that performance and what they do to her. You get a replacement Rachel and Tina. Now, I agree with people that she is a very annoying character, but I said this in the review, and I'll say it here. I do enjoy her at least a little bit in this. She's not one of these as soon as she comes on screen, even though I don't like the way it starts off of her banging out of a hospital window. But I mean, I still can enjoy some of her performance before she actually gets on my nerves, where everybody just feels like as soon as you see her, she is like the worst of the entire franchise here. And I don't know if I kind of completely agree with that. You have Michael Myers. I just think that the actor who portrayed him, I didn't really care for him. The mask itself was not bad, but it was just very loose on the person's face. It wasn't like tucked in the collar of the shirt there or the jumpsuit that he actually wears. And when it comes to the ending of this movie here, I hated this ending. Number 2 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Now, what I do actually enjoy about this is obviously Dan's death pretty early in the film. I think that was some great practical effects there. Really enjoyed what we get out of that there. We actually get Alice's dad, who's actually not an alcoholic anymore. He's going to his AA meeting, so kind of a nice little big arc for a side character like the dad, which usually when you get an alcoholic parent, usually they do die, or if they survive, it's like because their child is dead and they have to live with all that guilt there, which of course what happened to, his son Rick. And then the other thing is that and I think some people are kind of up in the air in this one. I'm in the boat where I do enjoy this, where it comes to Freddy Krueger versus comic book guy. And I think it's a very quick fight between the two, because you got Super Freddy, but on the flip side here, you only get 3 deaths. There should have been at least a couple more, but there's only 3 deaths in this movie here. When it comes to Freddy Krueger's makeup, it looks like, some people say it looks like, bubble gum, chewing gum, and I can kind of see that. I think Freddy is a wimp in this here too. Maybe not as bad as part 2, but he's definitely up there where he's very scared of his dead mother. I definitely say that I hate the story because it's very boring. There are times where it feels like it's drama, and it feels like it's a soap opera because you got something about Alice being pregnant and talking a little bit about like abortion, or when she has the baby to actually give it to somebody else. And I'm like, why the hell is this even in this movie? But my number 1 is going to be Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. I think Reggie the Reckless is damn good in this here. I think his grandfather is really good, even though he's not in it a whole lot here. You got Ethel, I think is really, really good. Definitely really enjoy the kills in this here. I definitely enjoy, even though it's a ripoff of Friday the 13th Part 1, I do enjoy the story about, kind of getting revenge on someone who dies. I do enjoy that. The script's pretty cool there. I thought this was actually directed not bad for a softcore porn director. There's a good amount of nudity in this here. This might be one of the biggest ones between this one and maybe the remake here. And when it comes to the killer reveal of Roy, it used to bother me, but honestly, it doesn't bother me anymore. I think that's perfectly fine. You have a copycat, and they kind of give sort of a quick little explanation, at the end of the movie about why he did what he did. And on the flip side, we got the actor who plays Tommy Jarvis, the adult Tommy Jarvis, and he really doesn't do much. He doesn't really talk a whole lot, but it's not quite the same thing of what happened with Jamie in Halloween 5. It just feels like he just doesn't want to talk because of the situation that happened in Part 4. You got Pam, who I do enjoy about 2/3 of this movie here, but what really trumps her to put her in the dislikes here is when she actually comes face to face with the killer. There is even at least one kind of cool thing with her and a chainsaw versus the killer there. But when she starts screaming and, talk about the volume going between 1 to 10, it's a fucking 11 in my mind, and it just gets so annoying. Like, she just goes over the top, and she just needs to turn that down just even a couple little notches, and maybe I would have never had a problem with it. When it comes to what the killing spree, how that all starts off with a candy bar. I never realized that for like the longest time, but when you hear about it and you realize that is true, it just makes me laugh. And then the final thing would be the way that this film ends, like the last minute or two, this open ending. I'm like, oh, come on. You kind of did that sort of in Part 4, but now you're just doing it slightly different in my mind there. Well, there you guys go. There is my ranking of the big 3 Part 5s. I hope you guys enjoyed them, and I will see you guys for the Part 6s whenever I can. Have yourselves a good one. Bye.